Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and you probably can't hear me through this mask. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today we're celebrating Halloween, the final day of Spooktober! With two unprecedented things for this channel, a re-review and a spoiler review of Terrifier 2. But before we get into it, you know exactly what to do. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. I reviewed Terrifier 2 back in 2022 when it came out, and I was pretty harsh on it, honestly. But yeah, man, if they didn't have that completely unnecessary extra hour with that weak and nonsensical plot concerning the director's favorite character ever, I definitely would have loved this movie more. I wasn't really into the first one at that time, and I kind of looked a little too hard into a lot of things like the writing and the pacing and the acting. But since the new one's come out and I really enjoyed Terrifier 3 and I went back and watched the originals, I thought, you know what? I've got a bit more of a favorable eye on Terrifier 2, so why don't I talk about it? For starters, I have to give all of the props to David Howard Thornton and Lauren Levera. David Howard Thornton, of course, absolutely kills it as Art the Clown, and I couldn't imagine anybody else being him. That mix of whimsical, mime-like energy juxtaposed with the absolute horrific shit that he does is just funny to me.
You're really weird, you know that?
I believe him.
And maybe it's because of the lower production values compared to horror movies that have really freaked me out, like the Smile movies or Hereditary, but I just don't take anything too seriously here. And with that in mind, David Howard Thornton just cracks me up with his performance as Art the Clown. Now for Lauren Levera, I gave her a little bit of flack in my review of Terrifier 2, but after watching the movies again, I have to really give it to her performance. She's an amazing final girl as Sienna Shaw. Now the lore and stuff isn't really built up that well here. You don't really understand what makes her the final girl and why she's able to go up against Art the Clown like she is. But seeing her don that costume that was designed by her father, get hopped up on Molly after that party with her friends.
I put Molly in your drink.
You bitch. What?
And go toe-to-toe with Art the Clown with that sword, finally cutting his head off at the end, is just so awesome to see. And with Lauren Levera's background in stunt work, she takes it all on the chin. She gets the shit kicked out of her in this movie and in the third one, and she gets back up and keeps fighting, and the physicality is just perfect with her. I also thought the character was written pretty well, and I like seeing her relationship with her younger brother Jonathan, played by Elliot Fulham, who I think is one of the weaker actors in this movie, but for the role that he has as the weird kid that's kind of obsessed with serial killers, I think he does it pretty well. Also, when I first watched the movie, I wasn't really a big fan of Sarah Voight's performance as the mom Barbara. I thought that she was just a one-note character that did nothing but scream at her kids and verbally abuse them the whole time.
And put your goddamn ball in the sink. What are you, fucking stupid? Again with this fucking book.
But watching it again and understanding the fact that she lost her husband and that she thinks that her son is acting up and vandalizing the school, even though we know it was Art and the little pale girl, it makes sense, and there are subtle layers to her performance that I think she pulls off, and the few touching moments that she has with Sienna are pretty well done.
Really, Maude. I love you.
I don't say it enough.
I love you too.
I also want to give it to Sienna's friends too, because Casey Hartnett as Allie, she starts off as a so-so character, but once we get to the infamous bedroom scene, she lets it all loose, while Art is just hacking into her, pulling parts of her away, snapping off her arm, peeling off her scalp. Those screams of terror are very effective, let me just put it that way. And the fact that this actress spent basically a week covered in fake blood and prosthetics, I gotta give props to her. Especially when you think that Art's done with all of his torture and comes back in with bleach and salt to rub it into her wounds. Whew! There's a reason why that's one of the most infamous gore scenes in history, and I don't think that anything has topped that yet, even the shower scene from Terrifier 3, as crazy as that was. I also thought that Kaylee Hyman, still laughing at that, and Brooke, played by Kaylee Hyman, I'm sorry, I'm 12. Kaylee Hyman did a good job as Brooke as well. She adds a bit more of like an extroverted party girl energy to that trio of friends there. And when she has her scene where she actually has to go up against Art the Clown and then eventually get killed by Art the Clown, I think she plays that fear very well. And I even love that little touch that David Howard Thornton throws in when Brooke kicks Art in the face and he just kind of sits there on the ground and kind of gives a look like, I actually respected that. And it doesn't come close to the bedroom scene, but her kill scene with Art using that table leg that he put a bunch of sharp shit into is definitely visceral. And that little added touch at the end, that little insult to injury when he bites into her heart, that's the kind of things that I love about this performance and I love about Art the Clown. Because he is dark, violent, twisted, and does some truly horrific shit, but you can always find something to laugh at with him. And speaking of the kill scenes, that is where this movie thrives and where the first and third thrive as well. Even though I appreciate a lot of the things that I harped on in 2022 a lot more now, those kill scenes and practical blood and gore effects are definitely top notch. I still think the bedroom scene is the best one here, especially with the effects used during that. But everything else here is brilliant. If I had to rank them, I'd definitely put the bedroom scene at the top. I think that Brooke's kill with Art taking that leg and caving in her chest is number 2. The kill with the cashier in the costume store is definitely number 3, just for the sheer fact that they show the beheading in clear detail and you can still see his eye moving around and everything. That was so cool to watch. I think number 4 would probably be the scene with the mortician when Art takes his eye and pulls out his brain. I really like the scene with the clown cafe.
Please welcome Art the Clown.
Even though it goes on way too long, but I'll get to the way too long part of things later. I love how sadistic and crazy it is when Art pulls out a Tommy gun and just mows everybody down and then lights everybody else on fire. That's just par for the course with him. And the last one is Barbara's kill scene. Not because it's bad, it's just over too quick. But even then, seeing him pop up with the shotgun and seeing Barbara's head just pop with all of the meat and fake eyeballs and all that stuff that they put into that prosthetic head was so cool to watch.
He actually fills it with a lot of stuff from craft services, though. I didn't do that.
Well, we don't have any craft services, so...
I know me saying over and over again that this stuff is so cool to watch may seem kind of twisted to the people that are watching this that aren't really familiar with this movie, or people like my wife, but as someone who loves horror and loves seeing practical effects whenever they're used and is fascinated by them and how they're made and how they're done, it's just so amazing to see all of this and see how real it looks on a relatively low budget compared to studio horror movies that are anywhere from $50 to $100 million when this one did it all on $250,000. Oh my god, and I can't forget Art murdering Brooke's boyfriend Jeff. It made every guy in that theater cover their crotch and clench. So yeah, the kill scenes in here are amazing. I've watched the behind the scenes. I am absolutely fascinated by the effects and how Damien Leone and his team pull it off and how they incorporate a lot of tricks too. Like a lot of times when you see blood spray in this film, it's just someone blowing through a hose. Now that being said, with all of the good stuff out of the way, I still have a few complaints. The acting and writing still leave a little bit to be desired after me rewatching it several times, but everybody does give it their all, just you can tell that some actors here were more experienced than others. The only other complaint that I have here is one that I'm very glad that was fixed with Terrifier 3, is that Damien Leone needed to get an editor in here. This movie is way too long at 2.5 hours. You can feel that in so many scenes that just drag on and on and on. That being said though, this series rides high on the practical gore effects, which are second to none. David Howard Thornton's incredibly iconic performance as Art the Clown. I mean, there's a reason why he's a horror icon now. And Lauren Lavera's great performance as Sienna Shaw, who is one of the best final girls of recent memory. I love this series. I cannot wait to see the 4th one, and I recommend it to people that love horror and messed up horror like I do. And that's my spoiler re-review of Terrifier 2, just in time for the end of Spooktober! Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it earlier. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. While you're at it, you can scroll down in the description below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of Terrifier 2 if you saw it, or the whole series, or Terrifier 3. And if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. I'll take you to my review of Venom: The Last Dance, or just over to my channel where you can check out the rest of my reviews and my shorts. Thanks for watching, everybody. Once again, happy Halloween, and I will see you on the next one. I don't know what movie it's going to be, but I will figure it out.